Greetings and welcome to Old Drunken Discography, where old friends, fans come together, BS, argue, occasionally agree, and discussing musical artists. This week's musical artist is the Deftones. It was brought to you by our special Patreon member, Trey.
Hello.
Hello! You sound like Robin Williams and Mrs. Doubtfire. Also, I'm Jason. With me is Tim.
I'm more of a Robin Williams and the Fisher King.
Oh, that's a good one too. And Bill.
Bill's the
on.
I like
Robin
Good Morning
Williams.
Vietnam, but it's okay.
Ooh!
Classic,
Yeah, that's a classic.
Bill's the Robin Williams in Brazil.
I'd go with Hook. I mean, he was good in Hook too.
Okay.
R.I.P.
Rufio.
Robin Williams.
Rufio.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so today we're talking Diamond Eyes, the David Bowie album cover here.
Wait, what?
Well, it just reminds me of the fucking Labyrinth, but we'll get to Is It Art.
No, well, of course. I mean, it's just screaming Bowie right off the bat, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I've seen some shit.
That Al has seen Jennifer Connelly in, what was that movie called?
The Labyrinth.
No, the other Jennifer Connelly movie.
I mean,
Labyrinth Part 2?
No,
right.
What was it,
Requiem
Tim?
for a Dream.
Requiem for, yeah. This Al has seen Jennifer Connelly in Requiem for a Dream. That's why he looks fucked up.
Ass.
All right, stick around for Is It Art. That's going to be a good one. Who wants to talk about Diamond Eyes first? There's a little bit of background to this one.
You want me to get that out of the way?
Yeah, you go ahead. You probably,
let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last album, the band was on the verge of breaking up. Going into this album, they were getting along. However, on November 4th, 2008, in Santa Clara, Chi Cheng was in an accident resulting in him being in a coma. They performed a show in February 2009 with Sergio Vega from the band Quicksand. They had a meeting to discuss the future, which resulted in a jam session that would become the beginnings of the work on Diamond Eyes. In June 2009, the decision is made to put the album with Chi on hold and beginning a whole new album with Sergio. The recordings with Chi are known as Eros, and they're unreleased. More than likely, they will probably never be released because the band has said that they're too painful to listen to. So
Yeah, that's tough. That is always tough. And, it's always a decision when someone dies like that to carry on. And it's obviously going to be a different band. We covered Quicksand here at ODD. Go back and check out those episodes. What was that, Jason? Season 2 or 3?
No, season 2 with Gold.
Season 2? Okay.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean, you can definitely hear the change in the band. So this is after Team Sleep, right? So Chino's clean for this one.
yes.
Yeah, you can hear it. You can hear that, like, just as a whole, this is much more cohesive. Sounds like they're having fun again, dare I say. I definitely will probably revisit this album again because, much like the last one, I'm getting Deftone fatigue at this point. I've given up taking notes because I can only write the same thing so many times. There's nothing here that jumps out at me. I believe there was a single I think it was from this one though. I can't remember what the name of it, but there was a song I heard. Like, there's still being songs out there being pushed.
There were 4 singles off this album.
Well, and I can't remember which one I heard.
So you had Diamond Eyes. You've seen The Butcher, which I think was the biggest one.
Okay.
Rocket Skates and Sex Tape were all singles.
I want to say it was Rocket Skeets that I had heard. I listened to this album again for the first time today. So my notes were a little scattered because I had a little bit of fatigue going. ever since the end of White Pony, where I kind of figured out that like his vocal approach is really similar to Billy Corgan's. It's hard for me. I purposely kind of chose like, no, I don't even want to focus on anything here. I just want to take this in. And what I got from this was, I mean, we got a lot of like electronica and techno and like a bunch of weird 80s Cure vibes, which have been there since the whole time, really. Um, but I really feel like at this point, they're actually kind of coming into their own. They've completely escaped the new metal image at this point. Obviously, they've gone through some trials and tribulations. We've switched producers. Yeah, this one it sounded like they were having fun. Sounded like they were a little rejuvenated a little bit, even in the face of the sadness of Chi Chang's death. And
He's not dead at this point.
well, that's true, yes, but
I didn't mean to laugh. I'm sorry. Fuck.
no, you're good. Um, right, because he was in the coma for the while. I
Yeah.
remember like, there'd always be updates, and it's like, well, what are you guys gonna do? And it's, well,
Yeah.
we got an album coming out. Like, hope you like it. And it sounds great. Like, I really like the production on here. Whereas this band started off where I did not like the guitar tones or the parts. At this point, I can accept the parts, and I really like that they are putting a lot of production into the guitar work. I think it helps the overall vibe of this band. Whereas, like on the first couple albums, and it's to be expected, you record with what you got. And as you get more money and more time, you're able to experiment more. And I think that it really benefits this band. I think at this point, they're like one of those bands where, yeah, if you're into it, you're going to like this.
That's where I'm at with this one. I wasn't a fan of the opening track. This may be the worst opening track so far. You can't open an album with a droning mid-tempo rock song with some generic heavy metal riff thrown in. Just doesn't
But that
work
is
for
kind of
me.
what they've done the whole time.
Royal, I
But
didn't
that's
even
a bit-
notice it started. I thought it was still the opening track. It might as well have been. Just kind of bled together. Command Control, let's take the same song. I mean, the two songs before it, but make the verses the hard part and the chorus the soft part. That'll switch things up. That'll throw them off.
Yeah, right. Just like Metallica did with The Unforgiven.
You've seen The Butcher? I was kind of vibing with that one. I didn't know it was a single, but it had a groove with it that worked with me. I think the drums really carried it. Beauty School, holy shit. Never in my life would I say the sentence. This Deftones song sounds like Weezer covering Linkin Park. But here we are. Prince, I started to write At Least It's Different when this one came on, but then it quickly went back to boring modern Deftones. Maybe fatigue has kicked in, but these are all starting to run together. Rocket Skates, it had some energy, finally. I think that, again, the drums were carrying it. This may be the most interesting sounding drum album in the discography. I think the drums on this one sound really good. Sex Tape, it was a pretty little ditty at first. Quickly put me to sleep, though. Kind of turned into a snooze fest. Risk, best song on the album. Everything was clicking together really well. The vocals, the melody, the music. Everything about Risk, I liked. Top song contender.
So that's funny because it's in the traditional like this is our weakest song on the album spot in the
Yeah,
the
track
track
9's
listing,
usually.
right?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
usually like, yeah, like this is like it's good enough to make the album, and maybe it's somebody's favorite.
It's like the
but
intimate
nobody
sleepless.
else in the room likes it.
The intimate sleepless of Dookie, the Lounge Act? No.
Yeah, which I mean, I love Lounge Act, but yeah, that is like the one everybody forgets, right?
Yep. All right, and then track 10, 976 Evil.
Fucking Tourette's.
That's track 11. I think 9 is like radio friendly unit shifter, which is
Yeah, I mean,
another
they kind of break the mold on that one there a little bit. They had a lot of strong songs for that one
Yeah.
too. So
Best Nirvana album. Go check out that review in utero. 976 Evil. Okay, do you guys know that movie? Have you guys ever seen the movie?
I love the
976
movie.
Evil.
Love the movie. Yeah, it's classic.
Again,
Saw it for the first time on USA Up All Night.
I saw it on the first time I saw it was on Night Flight. You remember Night Flight?
Oh yeah.
They got a streaming.
I remember renting the VHS at one point as
Yeah.
well.
That's a classic 80s movie that doesn't get enough love.
Absolutely, yeah.
So if you're gonna name your song that,
Because everybody knows what a 976 number is, right?
I do, yeah.
Okay, so for the people who don't remember 976, phone numbers are coded. Like you got your area code, and then the first three numbers kind of tell you like what phone region you bought your phone in, and that's related to your area code and blah blah blah. And then of course last four are just randomized.
Your individual number.
So back in the day, if you wanted to make a long distance phone call, like everybody's got cell phones now, but back in the landline days, you had to dial like 1-800 or you know,
1-900.
call collect 1-900. Yeah, it came up. So late at night on Fridays and Saturdays, there was the sexy time code, and if your phone number started with 976, it meant you were paying $4 a minute to hear some guy talk dirty to you.
That was the www.pornhub.com of the day.
Of the 80s, yeah. And the
So
90s,
yeah, if you had the 976, you knew it was an adult line.
And if you called 976 evil, you was going to get some demon shit.
Yeah.
All right, so back to the song, though.
That's right.
Great song. It's a great song.
No, it's not. After the disappointment of Up, Up, Down, Down on the last one, please don't fuck this one up. You got a song titled 976 Evil. You better come out swinging hard. Fucking hard. What the fuck are we doing, guys? Unfortunately, they do not. Wasted potential again.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. At this point, I was really like, how many more do I got? How many more do I got? Like,
the closing track.
It was homework at this point.
Yeah, This Place is Death. It's thrice again. It's mid-thrice, so it's okay. It's a better closing track
You
than the
keep
last
saying that
album.
like there's good thrice and that people should be listening to it.
There is good thrice. There is good thrice. Thrice has a fucking song on their first album called TNC. Okay. TNC is a reference to an NES game called TNC Surf Designs. And on the skateboard level of that song, or that level, has a fucking song. Thrice actually plays that riff in the song called TNC. That's how you fucking do it, Deftones. If you're gonna fucking call a song 976 Evil, you gotta represent the fucking source material. So sure. Thrice has that over the Deftones. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I will say real quick, when it comes to the titles of the song, I'm pretty sure it was a matter of we're fucking high. Let's see what's in the room, and we'll call it that.
I don't like being misled.
It's kind of like the old tale of how did your World of Warcraft character become called Lamp?
called Butt Muncher.
Well, it's kind of like
420.
seeing a movie called Triple X starring a dude called Vin Diesel, and then
Yeah.
it's PG-13.
I don't
Yeah,
like
this
that.
dude-
That's false advertising.
It
I
is.
don't like it. I don't like it.
And I'm not saying you're wrong. Why is this guy not fucking anyone? Anyway,
It's false advertisement. Deftones.
So do we blame the Deftones for that, or do we blame Madonna and her team for that? Because we have to remember that all of this is through that business lens.
I think at this point they're actually off Madonna's album label.
I stopped taking notes. I did not pay attention anymore. So
I think
okay,
yeah, at this point they have been swallowed by Reprise.
sure, because Maverick did go under.
Yeah.
Okay,
Their last album with Maverick was Saturday Night Risk. So this is the first one on a
Okay.
major label.
It got a push. I remember when this album came out. It
well,
crossed
and
my
this
radar.
was probably the best thing on Maverick, right? This is probably the reason why Reprise actually picked it up.
At this point,
This,
probably.
this was on Reprise, right?
Right,
I mean,
but but what Trey is saying is Reprise picked up all of Maverick's.
I don't think they were
Right.
buying Maverick for Michelle Branch or Tantric. I don't think
Well, they tried with Michelle Branch, and Tantric does pretty good on the FM rock radio.
Yeah, but I don't think that was their priority.
Sure,
And Erasure was pretty much dead at that point.
Legacy Act,
You
every
telling me
label's got
Deftones
one,
was
yeah.
the fucking highlight of picking up Maverick?
Yes.
Or Michelle
God.
Branch.
Oh God!
Her Santana song flopped.
Believe it or not, there are fans of the Deftones.
I mean,
You're right.
I know it's a hot take. I just don't like the albums with the white on them, the white ponies and the diamond eyes. I just don't like them.
It's cool.
They're fucking generic rock to me. Like this is what Thrice is gonna turn into in a couple years.
When we get to Is It Art, I will prove to you that the Deftones have been ahead of time since 1997.
Ooh, bold
And
statement.
I'm talking 25 years ahead of time.
On Is It Art?
Yes.
Okay, that's
Stay
a
tuned
bold
for that.
statement. Yeah,
there's
I'm
a
excited
teaser
for that.
right there.
And I will
Way to bumper it up, Trey.
I will
Yeah.
use my own daughter as evidence.
Okay. Has she seen Requiem for a Dream?
She has no idea what I'm talking about. And she definitely doesn't know about Ass to Ass.
You're
I love that
hoping.
movie.
You're hoping.
You keep bringing it up, and all I can think
Man,
of
I gotta tell you a story. Everybody has a story the first time they saw Requiem for a Dream. 100%.
Yeah, but I
100%.
don't think my story is airable.
Mine's
so.
not either. None of them are. None of them are. All right, Bill, what you think of Diamond Eyes? I'll tell you off camera.
So, get to this point.
Bill, have you seen Requiem for a Dream?
Ooh, that's a good question.
No.
Okay.
Live reaction streaming.
Hold
Bill
on,
watches
hold on.
Requiem for the first time. Oh my God, that's a life-changing movie.
Hold on. Bill, do you know who Jennifer Connelly is?
Yes.
Okay.
From the Labyrinth,
Yes.
we got some
Yes.
shit to show you.
Okay, now imagine her ass to ass.
No, there's more to that movie than ass to ass. That's
No,
the
there
climax.
isn't.
You're spoiling it. You're spoiling the whole
Yeah,
movie.
don't give away the fucking movie.
You got to build up to it with that soundtrack.
Yeah, but if you grew up with Jennifer Connelly as Sarah being your crush,
Yeah, she was hot.
the only thing that exists is Jennifer Connelly ass to ass.
No, yeah, no. You're torn. It rips you apart. It just.
So we're going to recommend you see Requiem for a Dream. It's a gripping drama about the dangers of addiction
Drugs.
and the cost of what it'll do to your dignity.
If
One
they
thing-
show that, if they would have showed that in high school as an anti-drug
They'd have
campaign,
been fired.
it would have changed a lot of kids' directions, I think.
Yeah,
Dills are the shit.
yeah. Be a strip club on every corner.
So
No.
that's
What the fuck did you get from that movie?
that's your homework for next week, Bill. Fuck the Deftones. Watch Requiem for a Dream.
Oh shit!
Oh
Stay
boy.
tuned for that.
So that aside, we're talking about Diamond Eyes here. Let's get back on track here.
Nobody's drunk.
And you know, I'm at the point of the night here with drinking. I'm trying to remember what you guys said.
We said it was great and that you should
Yeah.
love it.
It's fucking
I don't
awesome,
even
dude.
remember who talked.
We said ass to ass.
Oh God. Well, I'll say this. After listening to Saturday Night Wrist, like this one felt like a step backwards. It sounded very poppy to me at times. It just got a different tone to it as it was going. I don't know how else to describe it. Like it really, I mean, if I had to pick a favorite song, it might be Beauty School. Maybe. Aside from that, this was a very forgettable album for me. Nothing, gut wrenching, ripped my soul apart. But nothing that was, like, oh yes,
Tear
this
me
is the
away
best.
from this hot topic.
Yeah, nothing that was like, this is the best thing ever, praise to this album. Like it's another
I'm
Deftones.
forever 21.
Yes, you are, Tim.
That's right.
It's Tim's turn to guess. I'm glad he's interrupting you. I hope Tim has remembered everything we've said about this
Yeah,
record.
Bill hates it, so it's last.
Oh my god, this fucking discography. We'd like to thank Trey for giving us this discography to listen
Yeah,
to.
it's fun.
If you'd like to give us a discography to listen to, check out our Patreon. You can come on the show. We'll talk about
Right? Join us in Discord.
Yeah, we always
We're
talk
lurking.
shit.
I just want to watch when someone tells you guys to listen to Linkin Park.
Oh my god.
I don't want to do
Someone
it.
already has.
It's been threatened a few times, and I'm like, hey, you got to sign up for the Patreon. If I'm going to listen to all that bullshit, that's going to be a Patreon pick.
I don't want to do it because I know my top album is the remix album, which is fucking sad.
I'd probably put that
Which
Emily
should
album
tell
over some
you
shit.
where we want to not go with things.
Well,
We're
and the
trying to
thing
cover.
is-
We got to get to like No Effects before we get to
Yeah, well, there's still a lot of good bands out there. Let's
Carcass.
get to
Like
the good
yeah,
bands first.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's not a remix album like White Zombie or Rob Zombie, where they've had a couple
fuck
albums.
that.
It's a remix album of the one album they put out so far.
Yeah, yeah.
That's my favorite album by them. And that's fucking sad. Anyway,
Well, have you heard the new one? We reviewed it. Bill put it pretty high up for 2024.
I've heard
Yeah.
it. It's fine. It's music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kinda.
Music
I'd
for the
almost agree
soul.
with that. Yeah.
Here's the thing. It's 2025. As long as it's music, how fucking pissed off can I be?
Well,
Actual truth.
yeah.
Because my kids, all they listen to is Chapel Roan and shit like that. As long as there's fucking music, I don't care. I really don't.
I mean, yeah, I get that. I get that.
Bar that we have set.
All right. Well, let's fucking Tim guess it. Guess this motherfucker. Let's wrap
Did
this
I
I
even
think
bitch up.
talk?
it's
I didn't
last
talk
for
about
Bill.
it.
Oh, you
Oh, you
didn't
haven't
talk
talked?
about it? Oh,
We
shit.
talked about it.
All right, well, go ahead. Tell us about Diamond Eyes.
So what I'll say about it is you got a new bass player,
Yeah.
Again?
and we talked about that. The bassist, we talked about all that shit.
So it's the
Okay.
same bass player from the last album, the dude from
Yeah, yeah,
Quicksand.
yeah, yeah. Sergio
Yeah, okay.
Vega.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my top songs from this album are Diamond Eyes. Unlike Jason, I love the lyrical content of this album. I love when bands get cosmic. Um, there was a long period of time where I
Stay
did
tuned
not
for some P-Funk.
there there was a long period of time where I didn't listen to music, and the band that got me back into music was Avenged Sevenfold with the Life is But a Dream album. There's a song on there called Cosmic, and it's all about how we're all just fucking stardust. And when we die, eventually we come back, and that's what Diamond Eyes is to me. Uh, Command Control, that's a highlight for me. You've seen the Butcher introduces, and it really doesn't, but it does. It introduces this idea of swing. There is a swing to that song
Hmm.
that will reoccur over at least three of the next four albums. Now, it does occur in the self-titled album, and I'm too fucking drunk to remember which song it comes from.
Was that Pink Cell Phone? No, it was Saturday.
It's definitely not Pink Cell Phone, but there is a swinging sound, and this is
I'll
the
have to go
moment.
back to that because I never heard any swing. I have yet to hear swing here. So
And
I
see
did
this,
like seeing You've Seen the Butcher. I did like that one.
yeah, and this is the moment where, and retroactively, I heard it through the other albums. I absolutely fell in love with Abe Cunningham's drumming. Um, he's inspired by Mitch Mitchell from the Jimi Hendrix Experience, and
who isn't? Yeah.
I hear it a lot, especially in his fills. And
Sure. Okay.
he's one of those drummers where at 42 years old, 43 years old, that he makes me look back and go, I wish I played drums at a younger age. Like I have an electric drum kit because my wife won't get me a regular drum kit,
They're not the same.
but they're just kind of shoved to the side. I don't get to play
Yeah. They're
them because,
fun, but they're not
yeah,
the same.
but Abe is one of those drummers, and it's this album that connected me to his drumming style. And like I said, when I look at the other albums retroactively, I hear it more and more. I even have an album by a band called Fallacy, which he was in before the Deftones, which is more heavily inspired by Gish era Smashing Pumpkins. It's very sludgy. I don't want to say grungy because that's kind of a, you know, exposed
Because that's the
nerd.
bad word when you're talking about the Smashing Pumpkins. But
Yeah, so I'll say sludgy. It's more of a Gish era Smashing Pumpkins. So anyway, you've seen The Butcher. It's got that swing to it that I love, and I really think it's a relationship between Abe Cunningham and Sergio Vega, the bass player who comes in, because you hear it throughout the rest of the albums. Every album has this song that has a swing to it.
well, I'm gonna have to go back to that because yeah, like the second album with the new bass player, it totally makes sense that the drummer's going to expand a little bit.
And
Again, on my first listen, I didn't pick up on anything
yeah,
like
and
noteworthy, but I'll go back and check that out.
and it's interesting because Chi Chang, he was very influenced by reggae and stuff like that. And I remember reading articles where he would argue with Stephen Carpenter, the guitar player, and Stephen Carpenter would tell him, "Why don't you fucking play along with my guitar? Like that's all you
Sure.
need to do." And I feel like Sergio Vega, when he came in, that's what he did. And
Well, sure, because at that point they can get whoever they want, and it's
yeah,
going to be a hired gun, so they're gonna do what you tell them. You know,
yeah,
there's no rage here,
no.
and yeah, I mean that's just how bands work. And
And in one way, it limits the rhythm section in that the bass player is just doing what the guitar player is doing. But I also
right,
think
yeah, it poses a lot of issues.
I think it frees up the drummer to do this kind of exploration that he couldn't do before because he
Right,
was more
sure.
tied to the bass.
Well, well, that's a choice in and of itself. I can say as a drummer, if the bass and the drums are do or if the bass and the guitar are doing the same thing, then as the drummer, I only have one thing I can do.
Yeah. And
Whereas if
see
they're doing two different things, I can play off whatever I want to play off, and that can lead to multiple things.
and see, I
So,
really wanted to get your perspective in this as a drummer
sure.
because one of my favorite pieces of this band is Abe Cunningham as a drummer.
Okay.
Like I said, he's inspired by Mitch Mitchell, which
Which I don't actually hear.
it's I hear it in the fills.
Yeah, yeah, I'll go back because what I hear from Mr. Cunningham is that I hear a lot of Brad Wilk
Mhm.
from Rage, of course, and I also hear a lot of like Puffy Borden from Faith No More, who's very post-punk Killing Joke inspired. You know,
So
I
Bud
do think that this is the album where the drums stand out the most in their discography. I think he is starting to like he was doing some interesting things on this record compared to the
Yeah, okay,
previous.
yeah, they flew by me.
so
I
But
mean,
I was much more enveloped in the overall sound of the album
I mean,
upon my
Right.
first
I
listen.
don't know if I would say standing out the most. I would agree that the most interesting potentially. But I feel like the drums stood out a lot on that first album, just with how
The
granted that good
production of
mixing
it,
that they stood out.
the sound on the first
Yes,
album
like
sounds
the drum.
Well,
They said,
if
granted,
that
Trey
throughout the
wants
snare
to
on the
hit me
first
up
album.
tomorrow at any point with like a direct, like, "Hey, check out this drum part," I'll definitely check it back out and give you my thoughts.
so his major inspirations are Stuart Copeland, Ginger Baker, and Mitch Mitchell.
Yeah, I mean, you can't
Which
go wrong.
I mean, that's like the holy trinity of drum players.
Eh, it's one of them. There's a number of trinities when it comes to
Yeah.
drums.
But
Yeah.
when it comes to Mitch Mitchell, it's really weird because I love Jimi Hendrix, but one of the things I love about Jimi Hendrix experience is Mitch Mitchell.
Oh yeah, yeah, he makes it for sure.
So I do hear it not only in everything that's come before, but in this.
So I guess as a drummer, I would throw out that like Mitch Mitchell tried out for the Who, but you know who he lost to was
Oh,
Keith
fuck yeah.
fucking Moon.
One of
And
the
I
best
hear
drummers
a
ever.
lot of Keith Moon in what Mitch Mitchell plays.
Yeah.
I hear zero Keith Moon in what Cunningham plays.
And yeah, and I get
So
that.
maybe that's my disconnect.
No, I get that because when like I listen to Abe Cunningham, I hear a whole lot more of like 6 to 9
Yeah, yeah,
versus
yeah, which is Billy Cox.
yeah, versus the Who.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So anyway, I
Well,
feel
and
like
that's the beauty of drums. Um, they were the last acoustic instrument to be invented, even though it's the oldest instrument in the world. And there really comes a point where, especially in the late 60s, early 70s, where two different styles really kind of evolve.
mhm.
And you get drummers who are very like by the book on the metronome. Um,
Your Ringo Stars.
your Ringo Stars, and then you get that other spectrum of the Keith Moons and the John Bonhams, where they're just and the Mitch Mitchells, Ginger Baker, they're just going nuts.
and I
They're
feel like
playing with
Abe,
people who are good enough that can like make it make sense.
and I feel like Abe is in between Ringo Starr and Keith Moon.
Yeah, well, and that's where theoretically you want to be. So
Yeah, I just I don't know. Like it's interesting talking to you as a drummer because there are so many bands that I listen to when I get hooked on drums.
I mean, I'll talk about any band's drums. I love it. So
But the thing is, like I can play guitar, not very
sure,
well, but I
okay,
can play it. I can't play
sure.
drums at all. But there's something about drums that draws me, and I always felt like that's the one part of my life I missed out on was not learning drums when I was younger.
They're super easy. If you know how to count to four, you can do it.
But Abe is one of those drum players, and I hear it a lot with Diamond Eyes.
Okay,
That sucks me in, and part of it, I will specifically say, you see the butcher. It's that there's a swing there, and
okay,
I don't want to jump ahead, but it will come up in future albums.
okay.
Um,
All right,
Perfect.
Tim. Tim, you got the dot. You got to guess.
Oh, well, okay. So I think Bill's gonna have it last. I think that's
Don't
the easy
fucking
guess.
remember right now.
Well,
They
then you
did.
have it
Do you
last.
not write down your rankings?
I do. Wait.
Get your notes. Where'd you put it, Bill? Where'd you put it?
It was not last.
So it's next to last at number five.
Yes.
Okay, okay. Trey, I think, is going to have it a little bit higher up, though. I think Trey's going to potentially have it right below White Pony,
a little bit higher.
a little bit above White Pony, then, but
Mhm.
not number one.
No.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so I think, and I didn't really give this away with my review. I think this is their most cohesive album to date.
Sure. Okay.
But
Yeah.
I also think this is the point where they start to become repetitive.
Well, and we got three more to go. So,
Yes, we do.
so is this the beginning of the end? Um, Jason, I think, thinks that's already happened.
Damn.
So he's
Damn.
going to put it at number four.
No, too high.
Too high, number five.
Too high.
Last place said, yeah, you're out.
It's going
Oh,
last place.
shit.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, actually. It's hard to put it above White Pony.
Wow.
Um,
This is what are my final notes? What do my final notes say? Besides Risk and Butcher, maybe This Place is Death I could take. There isn't much here for me. This is like boring, drab, 2000s rock. Like it's
right, like the Foo Fighters are doing better at this point. Where are the Foo Fighters at this point? Like in your honor,
hold up,
or even
2010.
Echoes, Patient Silence? Oh, 2010. That's Wasting Light, man. Wasting
That's
Light's so
fucking
much better.
wasting. When the Foo Fighters rock harder than you got a problem.
Oh. So,
And Wasting Light's a great album.
That's a great fucking record.
wow.
If I'm gonna listen to the Deftones, right? If somebody says, "Hey, let's listen to some Deftones," I want some fucking anger. I want some energy. I want some fucking,
Yeah. At this point, I kind of want the rawness.
And that's why nothing tops Adrenaline at this point. And I haven't listened to the last three records, but they
First album bias.
have not rocked as hard as they have since Adrenaline and Around the Fur. It's been a steady decline ever since.
I can respect that. I can. For
Hot
me,
take. I know.
For me, it's a very weird thing because part of the self-titled album is nostalgia. It was an album I was waiting for. Diamond Eyes to me feels like the first time that the band is a cohesive whole, which is weird.
But it's I don't get anything new from it. It's like the same drab rock
Oh, I get it
that
because
they've been
I
doing
get
ever
it because
since. Whispering vocals.
I get it because I think I don't want to spoil my ratings, but I think the next three albums are very similar to this one.
And see,
One,
I think since White Pony they've been kind of similar since.
I would agree with that. I think White Pony is the kind of the draw, the dividing line.
It's the Green album of Weezer, or not Weezer, of the
Yeah,
Deftones.
and
yeah,
see to me
yeah.
the turning point is Saturday Night Wrist. And I don't know if it's because it's a matter of the drug usage or if it's because of Chi Cheng's presence. I'm not sure. Because between Saturday Night Wrist and Diamond Eyes, they both went away.
At least Saturday Night Wrist had two songs that were like, oh shit, these are fucking bangers. They make you want to get up and fucking smash some shit, like Adrenaline, like Around the Fur,
Yeah.
like.
It depends what you want to get from this band.
I mean, that's if I want to listen to the Deftones, I
And
want to hear
that
some
is kind of
fucking.
the ultimate question. Like, what is it I want from this band at this
Because
point? Like, I'm not even sure.
Because what they're doing at this point, like Tool does it better.
Yeah.
and I don't
And you could even argue that the White Stripes are doing part of this better.
The White Stripes have more energy than. Yeah, I mean, fucking Elephant has more energy than the last two Deftones records we talked about.
Yeah.
And that's just a guy and a girl. Like,
it depends what kind of energy you're looking for. If you want to fight,
Well, and that's true.
you got adrenaline. If you want to fuck, you got something totally different.
you got Around the Fur.
I mean,
And if you want to sleep, you got Diamond Eyes.
if but Deftones to me, it's either about fucking or fighting.
I mean, doesn't everything boil down to that?
Hell yeah!
Right? Are you describing the Danzig discography?
Oh God. Yeah,
I mean,
that's-
Sublime.
where
Sublime is the
Eagles
one that
Dare.
Sublime is the one that spelled it out the most with fucking and fighting. It's all the same. It's what you want to get from it, and I like a little bit of both at the same time. So fuck it.
Yeah, but they stopped fucking
then
and fighting about 2 records ago, or about 4 records ago.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's that bad. You've seen The Butcher is great.
Yeah, it's a good one. That's gonna make my top songs list. Unless
That's
I go.
that's a Conception song.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that one. It's not all bad, but I'd take the first. There's like 2 songs off self-titled. I'd take.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Or
look,
no,
here's the
Saturday
thing.
night. I'd take 2 off Saturday night.
Here's the thing. When I made my ranking, I had to look at this as: do I do this purely on nostalgia, or do I do this on what I think is quality? If I'm doing it on nostalgia, I'm just going to pick the first 5 albums.
Well, that's why you're here, because I'm straight going nostalgia. Like I have nostalgia tied to those first 2,
Yeah.
and there's a reason I stopped listening to them after White Pony, and having heard all these records since then,
You weren't wrong.
I wasn't wrong. Like I made the right decision.
I don't think there's anything in I call it the Sergio Vega era, the Vega era, because that's when
Sure.
he came in. I don't think there's anything there worth ignoring simply because it does become formulaic. It really does.
Since White Pony, it's become very formulaic.
Well, I mean, since Adrenaline,
I mean Saturday
they've
Night
had their
Wrist.
formula since Bored.
Saturday Night Wrist doesn't have a
No.
formula because it's all based on meth.
Yeah, but it's told in the same like sound as what's been there all the whole. At least Adrenaline fucking rocks, dude. It fucking rocks.
No, I agree. I'm just saying it's been there since day one.
No,
Like that is
like-
the rock which this is built our foundation.
I like all of these albums. That's what's like. I can't really argue with you.
It's hard. I know. It's
Like I'll
Why we're
listen
here,
to
though.
any of these albums any day. It just depends on what mood I'm in. Like I
you're
think I
the
talked.
fan. You are the fan. You are the one that like has listened to these records hundreds of times and know the ins and outs of it. Same thing when we do Green Day. Like I'm talking about Revolution Radio because I've heard it a million times. I know the ins and outs of it. These guys shit all over it because they heard it one time, and
I've heard it twice
Oh
now,
yeah,
my friend.
I completely understand. Um, because the next I don't want to spoil anything. The next few albums, I like I said when she left when she forcefully left the band because he didn't have a choice. I actually jumped off the bandwagon because I was kind of now this is a band I grew with, and I was kind of disturbed that they would
Change is
continue to
tough, yeah.
push forward. I was young. I didn't realize that life still goes.
yeah, it's just
Yeah.
a bass player. You can
Yeah.
keep going without a bass player.
So
Right.
at Saturday Night Wrist, I was like, oh, they're going to keep going? Well, fuck those guys.
If Metallica could keep going after Cliff fucking Burton on the bass, then yeah,
And
you can replace your bass player.
that was one of the key bands. It was them and AC/DC.
Yeah, yeah.
When it was like, okay, well, you can replace a lead singer and keep going.
And have an even bigger hit.
That was when I started, I guess, healing. It's a stupid fucking word, but I don't know how
No, it
else to
makes sense.
explain
It
it.
makes sense, especially when you're that close to a band. There's a couple bands out there that we've covered on this channel where the death of a key member like sent me in a tailspin where I couldn't listen to the artist for
Yeah,
years.
yeah,
Yeah. Like when you're
Um,
young and a band member just disappears because of an accident, you fully expect that the band is going to end.
yeah,
And when they keep going and you're young, you're kind of like, oh, well, fuck you.
a little bit.
it
Yeah,
depends. It depends on how much the bass player contributes. Because
And
and Chi contributed a lot to those early
yeah.
Deftones records.
oh, yeah.
I went through it with Strung Out when Jim Cherry passed away. He was the bass player. You lost that like Fat Wreck skate punk sound because he was the main writer of that sound for them, and they went in a completely different direction. And either you accept it or you don't. All right, stick around. We're gonna be talking about Koi no what? What is
Yokin.
it? Koi no Noken?
Boy, no yokin.
Koi no Yoken. Stick around. We're gonna be talking about Koi yo
What'd you call
Noken
What'd you
next.
call me?
I knew what it meant,
Um,
but I'm drunk.
We're gonna be doing top songs. We're gonna be doing Is Art, Outcast coming up soon, Led Zeppelin coming up soon. You don't want to miss it. We give you the real deal here. You know, we bring a Patreon member on. He picks a band, and we're still gonna shit all over it. Hashtag integrity here at Old Drunken Discography.
It's all good.
Hashtag we love Trey. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
As always.
Shout out
Yeah.
Trey.
It's all
He's the
love.
man.
Bring us any band. Yeah.
Any
We'll
band.
take
yeah.
it.
Butthole Surfers. Ooh,
Yeah,
I
you
can't
know where we
wait.
stand.
Yep. As always, be safe and what, Trey?
Make questionable decisions.
And then you go a little woo, and then a little whoop, 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 and then it's all, and then you're ready to go again.